ora, good evening, Rotorua. Ahead in your Tuesday night news bulletin. A child dies at Rotorua Hospital from meningococcal disease. Ngāti Wāhiao protest outside the court. And tough guys and tough girls compete in the first of 3 challenges. Those stories and more up next tonight on City News. Health officials have confirmed that a young child died on Saturday night at Rotorua Hospital from meningococcal disease after being transferred from Taupo Hospital. Medical Officer of Health Dr Neil DeWitt says it appears to be an isolated case with no links to other cases. Over the weekend, health staff worked to identify close contacts of the child, a total of 7 people, and they have been given advice and preventative treatment. The family came from outside the Rotorua region. Dr DeWitt says so far this year there have been 6 cases of meningococcal disease in the Bay of Plenty and Lakes region, which isn't higher or lower than average. Further testing is being done to determine the strain of meningococcal disease the young child had. Members of the Ngāti Wāhiao hapu protested outside the Rotorua courthouse yesterday. Ngāti Wāhiao are unhappy at some of the trustees of Whakarewarewa Joint Trust and have taken out an injunction. Ngāti Wāhiao spokesperson Grace Hoyt says Ngāti Wāhiao are arguing for representation on the Whakarewarewa Joint Trust. She offered this background to their concerns.
We're here today because we want to stop the taking of our iwi resource, our iwi asset, which is Te Puia the business. It goes hand in hand with our lands. We are Ngāti Wāhiao. Ngāti Wāhiao are what we call the mana whenua, the home people of Whakarewarewa Valley. And the asset's being returned to us. But unfortunately, we've had people in there trying to take it from us.
Justice John Priestley has adjourned the Ngāti Wāhiao case to August the 15th, when it will be heard in Auckland before former Māori Land Court Judge Justice Joe Williams. Trustees of Whakarewarewa Joint Trust were unavailable for comment. After nearly 80 years of occupancy, the last of the Hamurana leaseholders now know they must leave their properties by February 2013. At a council meeting, councillors were asked to support the recommendation to evict. At the meeting, the term squatters had been used to describe the leaseholders. However, Councillor Charles Sturt, who was also at the meeting, says the leaseholders are not squatters.
Well, those people have been there since 1927, and the reason why council gave them 2 years' notice as per their leases was simply because council's building a sewage treatment station out there, and because their leases could be terminated at any time, council believed that this was the time to terminate them. There's only 7 properties from the original 60 odd, and they've been there at the grace of council.
Charles Sturt says the council was breaking the law by having dwellings on reserve land, so now the leaseholders will have to remove their dwellings and rehabilitate the land.
They have to reinstate the properties back to a green field, and they move on. But one thing I have been concerned about is there's 3 significant trees out there. They're the redwoods that were planted at the same time as the Hamurana Springs, and I've ensured that council's put a protection order on those trees so that somebody doesn't go in there with a chainsaw and cut them down.
Mr Sturt says the Council's Community Services Department will be writing to the leaseholders to help find new accommodation. National property values have steadied according to the QV Residential Property Index for July. Nationwide property values have steadied over the past month and are now only 0.4% below the same time last year and remain 5.2% below the market peak of 2007. Values in most provincial towns remain below the same time last year, with Rotorua at -2.9, down slightly on last year. In sport tonight, competitors from around the country took part in the first of 3 tough guy and girl challenges at the weekend. Competitors were challenged on a course that included swamp crossings, a web net climb, a crawl under barbed wire and mud, and then more mud. 421 competitors took part in the 12-kilometre course, with 365 completing the challenge. Josh Harrison took the top spot with a time of 59.3. Chanel Cornell took the first female in. In the social challenge, there were 1,589 competitors, with 1,465 finishing the course. Michael Black took the guys' honours, with Dominique Hollins taking top gal. The tough guys and gals competitors meet again this weekend. To your weather now, Rotorua and the surrounding area. Tonight, fine, light winds, overnight a low of 5. Tomorrow, Wednesday, odd shower, light rain, northeasterly freshens, a high of 12 and a low of 8. Long range for Thursday, rain easing to few showers, tending northwest, a high of 13 and a low of 10. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Wednesday, northeast 10 knots developing in the morning, rising to 15 knots later. Waves less than half a metre, cloudy periods, a light shower or two. Still to come tonight on City News, we meet NASA scientist Matthew Riaz and talk about how he sees the future of space exploration. We take a look at the new Rotorua Eye Clinic, and Susie Luff tells us about the Trust Power Spirit of Rotorua Awards.